Hello mystery buffs, you are back once again with your mate Legions of Caesar, and today is my 5th online battle as a Total War Warhammer complete noob. My last performances have really not been great, and so I feel like I'm living up quite proudly to my noob status at the moment. It's not been the best run, having 3 spanking defeats in a row, so hopefully can do something about it today, although I was skeptical going into it after the last performances. So I've had to take some time away from playing online and playing Total War in general. So I've been thinking quite a lot about potentially why I'm getting spanked. And so what's kind of been going through my head is that I don't do very well with low leadership factions. When I play campaign battles, I think I play much stronger, much better when I have a strong front line, and I'm then able to dictate the battle around that. So I'm able to maneuver my archers and any range units I have. I quite like using artillery as well, so obviously keeping a stable front line really helps with that, and also being able to maneuver with any cavalry as well. So decided that any factions like your greenskins, your vampire coast, vampires, anything low leadership is going to be out, so I've gone for the ultimate holding in this battle. So I'm going to go for Dwarves. So Dwarves, the old grumblers, lots of armour, going to hang in there in the centre and in the front line, and they are going to allow me to be able to play the battle that I want to play. So anyway, that was the thinking that I've been going through up until this battle. So in this one, which is number 5, I am going to be the Dwarves, and I'm going to be playing against the High Elves. I couldn't find a battle on multiplayer, so this is a quick battle. I'm always more skeptical with quick battles, but you know, let's see how we get on.
Okay, so let's start off this shindig by looking at the army comp. So I am the Dwarves, and I have a front line of 5 units of very long beards. I have a couple of units of Slayers as my anti-large on my wings, 3 units of Quarrelers, some Iron Drakes, Ungrim Iron Fist as my Lord, and a Thane as a hero, and a couple of units of cannons. So then let's have a look at the Oppo. Some elite infantry here, a lot of Hageneth executioners, so 4 units of those guys. A couple of units of Dark Shards with shields, so they'll do well in a skirmish battle. A couple of units of Sisters of Slaughter, there's some ferocious ladies right there. And then in the woods, which are unbeknownst to me at the time, we have some Cold War Knights and a Supreme Sorceress Dark. Alright, so let's get this playing. So I was really hoping that the opposition was going to come to me. I wanted to use my cannons as an advantage, but realising they had 2 units of Reaper Bolt Throws, there was not so much of an option. But my guys do have a longer range, so that was working in my favour at least. And my gyrocopters are off. I wanted to scout these trees here. It seemed like a really obvious place just to hide an ambush, so I wanted to check that out first. So off goes my copter, and these guys are moving forward. So it looks like their army now is moving towards this ridge here, and their Reaper Bolt Throwers are going to get right into position. Gyrocopters still just scouting out the trees. Are these guys firing yet? Doesn't look so. Just moving my army forward cautiously. Oh no. Yep, cannons going. So firing on their Reaper Bolt Throws. I wanted to just try and get the advantage, the artillery advantage. If I take these bad boys out, then that would give me an advantage. So Gyrocopters is going to go in and try and get some cheeky shots in, while my cannons are still harassing these Reaper Bolt Throws. But not in range yet, so they're taking a lot of damage while not being able to do anything back. So Gyrocopter now under threat, so he's going to fly off. And I want to scout out these trees. So let's have a look. At which point I found the Cav and the Supreme Sorceress, so again, thought an easy opportunity just to get some shots in. So got him in there, this Gyrocopter, so doing some good work. And once these archers are in range, just get them out of there. Not worth them dying for. So my army on the move now. So I'm now pressing forward. artillery is in range. I use this moment because it looked like he was kind of out of position here. I thought, well, I hoped he would be micromanaging in the woods here as well, so wanted to just put the pressure on and move the entire army forward. So as you can see on my other battles, I've spaced out my army much more, particularly on the front line. My archers are in the centre, and my elite range unit, my Iron Drakes, in the middle here as well, so they're going to hopefully do a lot of damage for me. Gyrocopters, just trying to keep them moving, keep them as a nonsense, so again they're firing on the Reaper bolt throwers. And we can see the attack looks like it's going to start on this wing. They're really going to focus on my right, looking at this. So the skirmish battle now underway. We've got my archers firing into Hagenef executions there, so not really too much damage, so that's not great. Gyrocopters being shot at again, so I'm pulling them back. And 4 units of Hagenef executioners are going to do a lot of damage to my longbeards. There's not going to be too much that they can do. So, going to get these guys into the fray. Longbeards charging. I brought up my Iron Drakes, so they're absolutely destroying those Hagenef executioners. Already down to half health, so that's a great win for them. Archers focusing on these Sisters of Slaughter. They haven't got any armour, so they'll do a lot of damage. Iron Drakes have absolutely destroyed these Hagenef executions, actually. That's a great unit for me. I didn't realise that at the time. So I've still got my Slayers in reserve. I've got a couple of units of Longbeards now moving over. We have some Cold One Knights now charging through this gap, which I was slow to respond to. So that wasn't great on my part. Bringing my Thane over, he's a melee expert, so bring him straight in. Bringing over Ungrim as well, and these Slayers are anti-large, so it should hopefully do a lot of damage to these Cold One Knights. Slayers moving around the wing, and the Quarrelers are getting hell out of there. Don't want them in this battle at all. A couple of units of Longbeards now standing around not doing much. That's not great on my part. These Longbeards on this right against 3 units of Hagenef Executioners and a Sister of Slaughter are not going to do much damage at all. Quarrelers now focusing on the Dark Shards with shields. So not a great matchup for the Quarrelers there, as their opponent has shields, but looks like my right wing is now collapsing as well. So that's not great. But I've been able to steady up the centre at least. Cav now destroyed, so they're running away. My 2 heroes going after their general there. And I do have these couple of units of Longbeards hanging around as well. And this unit of Executioners is pretty much done at this point as well. So doing damage on the Dark Shards of Shield, so they're almost done. My 3 units of range units are doing well still. And so here we are. This is the centre of the battle. Gyrocopters just moving over. They are anti-infantry, so hopefully do some damage on these guys. And now these Iron Drakes are really going to get stuck into these. So I didn't mind too much about hitting my own guys at this point, just because their infantry is so elite in comparison to mine that these Iron Drakes are going to absolutely chew through this elite infantry. So hitting my own guys, not too much of a big deal. Both the Reaper bolt throwers still going. My archers now focusing on this Dark Shards of Shield, so they're nearly routed as well. My infantry very nearly destroyed at this point. I didn't want to leave my 2 heroes into the battle too long, so I pulled them out. I imagine my Iron Drakes have actually destroyed my own units too much here, and that's why my front is collapsing. Realising that it's collapsing, I had to get my 2 heroes back in there. Gyrocopter ran out of ammo, so charged him in as well. This is where I'm going to win the battle at this point, so need to protect my range units at all costs, keep them firing. Sister of Slaughter aren't doing too much damage. I wanted to make sure my Iron Drakes stayed healthy and stayed in the fight, so pulled them out and just charged in my Quarrelers. Both my heroes now doing the biz still, get stuck into the 2 units of Hagenef Executioners. This is just a Reaper Bolt Claw thrower crew charging forward, so not too worried about them. And these Iron Drakes about to open fire again. Come on. The volley. Oh no. Oh no, getting stuck in with some Sisters of Slaughter. Come on, guys. Oh. some seriously close range firing there. And they are running away. And that was the battle. I was able to hold the centre, and essentially it was my range units which really won the battle for me. So let's, as always, have a look at some kills. The big man, Ungrim Iron Fist, 26 kills, not bad from him. Thane 17, that's okay. Cannons not really doing too much. I guess the pressure of the cannons and the longer range that they had over their Reaper bolt throwers really caused them to come forward. I think the combination of my cannons and my gyrocopter, where's the gyrocopter? Yeah, really caused them to fight my battle, essentially. And gyrocopter are doing very well, 56 kills. Iron Drakes only got 15 kills, which is surprising based on the way that they seem to really tear up their Hagenf executioners. That's a bit of a shock to me. Slayer's doing well, 32 and 55. My Longbeard's not doing great, but I suppose that's to be expected, just because they're against some quite elite infantry on the other side. So let's have a look at these. Enemy General, 16 kills. There wasn't much magic from Ponti Sambo's side. I wonder why that was the case, especially when you have a Sorceress as a General. Sisters of Slaughters, one unit doing very well, 43. And look at this, Hagenf Executioners. You can really see why I took a lot of losses, particularly on my Longbeards. My 5 units of Longbeards and my Slayers basically all completely dead. Dark Shards did okay. Cav not doing too much, and the Reaper Bolt Throwers not doing too much either. So there was the battle.
So that was battle number 5, and I suppose first things first, the most important thing to do at this point is get in there. Come on. I wasn't expecting that. I took a pasting in my last few battles, and so just to get a win, any win, don't care how it happened, don't care who it was against, could have been against a dog on the computer for all I care, I won. So that is something to celebrate for me at this point. In terms of how it went, I'm actually quite surprised how I ended up playing in this one. I really took the initiative. Firstly, even though I had the artillery advantage, I moved my army forward to be able to pressure the enemy when I thought that they were out of position, and when I thought that my artillery had already gained the artillery advantage, so I could sit back and be able to play the battle that I wanted, but at the same time really moving forward and dictating the tempo of the battle. Secondly, I brought gyrocopters into the battle, thinking that I could maneuver them once the front line is engaged. They're an anti-infantry unit, so I can maneuver them to target their most important units. But what I actually ended up doing is, one, scouting the battlefield, so I was able to uncover their hidden forces, which was a good result for me. But secondly, I really dictated the battle. I was able to get in some good shots onto their Reaper Bolt Throwers. I got it onto their cavalry as well. But it also meant that one unit of our archers stayed a long way from the battle for quite a long time, just because they were constantly chasing the gyrocopter. So it wasn't something that I planned coming into the battle, it just kind of happened naturally. And it's a strategy which I definitely think that I should incorporate more. I really need to start dictating the battle rather than just simply reacting to it. The front line was a bit of a disaster for me, I suppose, in some ways. Well, disaster might be a bit much, but my Longbeards are always going to struggle against 4 units of Hagenf Executioners and 2 Sisters of Slaughter. They're some pretty elite infantry, so I suppose if I was playing any faction I would have struggled against elite infantry. But even though that was the case, they did do the job well. I wanted that high endurance front line just to be able to hold that position so I can maneuver my my range units, and really focus fire on the units which were going to cause me the most trouble. I was able to rout their range units to 2 units of Dark Shields, and the Iron Drakes meant that I did have a card up my sleeve to be able to really try and hammer on to those elite infantry units of the Dark Elves, particularly the Hagenf Executioners rather than the Sisters of Slaughter, just because they are armoured and my Grumblers are not armour piercing. So all in all, I'm absolutely delighted with how that went. That was really surprising for me. It was great to actually get a win. I was starting to feel a bit dejected on how I was getting on, but after that one, happy days, can't complain at all. So Guys, this is Legions of Caesar. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you're impressed as I am. Probably not. Which, to be fair, can't blame you. I am still a noob, and I hope you're enjoying this noob journey. I am on all social media for you guys to follow along. So, it doesn't matter if it's follow, subscribe, like, do what it is you gotta do. Thanks for watching. See you again next time.